Karen here from tuppencecolour.co.uk, and today I am also Karen from Altered Ego, because today's project is one that I'm making to take part in the Smeared and Smudge annual 31 Days of Halloween blog hop. So today I'm combining my Stamping Up me and the more altered art grungy spooky me. Now for the Smeared and Smudge blog hop, one of the conditions is that it's got to be Halloweeny, Day of the Dead-y, spooky, and also that it's got to have stamping on it. But there's no stamping on this, you say. Well, just wait a minute, because after all it is Halloween and we want some magic. So, oh, there's the stamping. It's a slider card, and they're lots of fun to make and quite simple when you know how. So stick with me and we'll get started. This is a piece of very vanilla cardstock which I've cut at 5.5 inches, and I've just left the whole sheet of A4. I haven't cut anything off the end because it doesn't really matter. But if you wanted to, you could just trim it down to 11.5. And I'm going to score it at 5.5 inches and again at 11 inches. That's going to be my card blank. For the front of the card, I have a piece of basic black cardstock which I've cut 5.25 inch square, and I've got this piece which I've cut from one of our new Happy Haunting DSPs, which is in the Autumn Winter catalogue, and I love this one. I love the little spooky faces that are just peeking out in the pattern. I've got my card blank, and I've gone ahead and I've cut a little notch out of the bottom edge using my 1 3/8 inch circle punch, and now I want to make sure that my other cardstock, my matting cardstock, lines up nicely. So I'm just centering that where I want it, and I'm bringing it right up to the edge here. I'm going to hold it, turn it over so I can see it. I'm going to come in with my 3/8 inch punch, and I'm just going to nip that bit out. And then I'm going to do the same thing with my patterned DSP, and again I'm going to center that where I want it to be, right up against the edge. Turn that over, come in with my 1 3/8 inch punch. Now if you try and do it all together, my punch struggled with it, so that's why I've done it in two. I've taken a couple of passes at it. So here's my matting card. Got my snail, and put that centered on there, and now I've got a nice little even handy helper, and I'm going to map this onto the front of the card. I haven't closed it all up yet because I've still got to do the push me pull you mechanism. So I'm just going to center that and press down until I'm absolutely happy with it. And until you actually press down, snail is quite forgiving, so just take your time over this bit, and there we go. So we've got the matting and layering done, and now I'm going to bring in this rather beautiful thing, which is one of our spiderweb doilies, and it's from our new Autumn Winter catalogue, and I absolutely love this. I think these are so pretty. Something else that's new in our Autumn Winter catalogue is the fine tip glue pen. A couple of things I want to say about the fine tip glue pen before I start using it. One is that when you first get it, the bottle is sealed, so you have to take this black bit here and you have to unscrew the bottle, because there is a seal that covers that bit there. I'm just going to wipe that away, and make sure that you seal it up properly again afterwards. And the other thing is that when to use it, you unscrew the white bit here, and inside the bottle cap there's a pin. I'm not sure, can you see that? Just about, yeah. and that goes back inside the nozzle. I'm going to squeeze that off because that's getting a bit enthusiastic. It's a very full bottle. So I'm going to go and play with this now. So I'm just going to put little spots here and there. Not too many. It's quite a light glue, so I don't know whether I'd trust it to hold anything heavy on, but for paper it is absolutely fine. So let's arrange that. Let's center that on my card base. Just tap it down. I'm going to close this up, and I'm supporting the cap. Get the pen in. Close that down. Seal that up nice and tight. Right, so just pat that down, and that's on the front of my card. Now, one of the other very, very favourite things that's in the Autumn Winter catalogue is this black glimmer paper. I love it. I love it, love it, love it. And what I've done, I have on the back of it, whoops, it's flying upside down. I have stamped the bat from our, whoops, sorry about that, bumped the tripod, our Cheer All Year set, which again is in, guess what, the Autumn Winter catalogue, and I've stamped it using our brand new basic black archival. See, archival stamping pad. Now, I'm going to fussy cut this out. So, probably going to speed this bit up, so I'll see you on the other side. And there he is. There's my bat. I'm not a great cutter-outer. It's not my favourite thing to do, but the outline of this bat is nice and clean and nice and easy, so it's relatively straightforward to do. So I'm going to put him onto the card with some Stampin' Dimensionals. Probably use about 3, I think. 2 and 1 there. So and just going to get him centered in the middle of my doily, and there he is. There's my little glittery bat. To make the slider mechanism, I've got myself a piece of card, and this happens to be a piece of the card that comes as a backing to our DSP sets, and I've cut it to 6 inches wide by 5 1/4 inches deep, and I've scored at 1/2 inch from either end. So I've scored it at 1/2 inch and at 6 inches, at 5 1/2 inches, and I've folded in opposite directions. So one is folded up, one is folded down, and I've gone ahead and I've put tear and tape along those sides. Now for the pulley, which goes, the slider bit, which goes around the middle, I've got one of these, which is just a plain Common Garden ordinary document wallet, and I'm going to cut myself, whoops, bump the tripod there, a strip of the plastic, which is about 1 inch wide, maybe 1 1/4 inches. That measurement is not absolutely critical, it just needs to be deep enough to attach your card to. Right, so I'm going to chop off that end, I don't need that bit, and I'm going to measure around my card and allow myself a bit of an overlap, not too much, maybe about 1/2 inch, so chop that off there. Right, I've got my piece of tear and tape, and I'm going to put a piece on that bit of the plastic, and I am cutting it with scissors, and I'm cutting that right off, and I've got this onto this side of the plastic, right? So that's on top, that's underneath. If that is making sense to you. You don't really want them on the same side because it won't work terribly well. Now, I'm going to overlap the tape, but I'm not making it really tight. I'm leaving a bit of play, so there's a little bit of room, because if you make it too tight, you want it quite loose. Make it too tight, the mechanism will stick, it won't work properly, it won't run well, and we don't want that. So that's now, see, I can pretty much get one finger under there, and that's about how you want it. Okay. Right, so now I'm going to bring in the bits that are going to slide out the card. So I have 2 pieces of Tangelo Twist cardstock, which I've cut at 4.5 inches wide by 5.25 inches, I think it is deep. Is it 5.25? Nope, 5 inches deep. And I've stapled a bit of ribbon onto this one. I've gone ahead and stamped them, again with stamps from the Cheer All Year set. I've used the Boo and the Happy Haunting sentiments, and I've gone ahead and put the can't remember, I wanted to say sticky strip. It's not sticky strip, it's tear and tape onto the back of, and to the back of this one and onto the front of this one, and that is important. Now this is going to be the one that pops out of the bottom of the card, so I want it to be in front of the bit that holds the slider mechanism, because it'll then cover up the slider mechanism when it's at rest, as it were. And that is quite important. You want that background card covered up, unless it's exactly the same as your foreground card, of course, because it doesn't matter. So I'm just going to center that onto my endless belt as I turn that over. And as I said, this is important. That has to be at the bottom of the card, so it's away from the sentiment, and at the front. If you put it at the back, when you pull the slider, your sentiment will be facing the wrong way. How do you think I know that? Yep, done it on more than one occasion. So I want the at-rest position to be with both the cards hiding. Press that down. Right, now when I pull on that one should pop up. Push on that one should pop up. Yes, they're a bit floppy, but don't worry about that, because once they're in the card itself, that won't matter. So now we're ready to assemble everything. So here's our card and here's our slider mechanism. So to turn the card over face down, and we're going to turn the mechanism over also face down. So I'm going to put some tear and tape along this edge. Now I will make a confession that when I started to make this, I'd actually put the tear and tape on the wrong surfaces of this mechanism. So probably best to leave putting the tear and tape on till the very last minute, because otherwise it does make things a little bit awkward for yourself. So I'm going to fold that under. I'm going to line that up with where I want it on the card. Now I've got quite a bit of room to play with, so that is fine. Okay, now I'm going to turn that edge over, and I'm going to apply my tear and tape to that side, and again snip it off. And I've also got tear and tape along this edge of the card here, so that folds over there. The tear and tape backing comes off this piece here, the tear and tape backing comes off this piece here eventually, and that now is going to fold over there. Maybe that is going to fold over there, and your card is finished. And there it is. So pull the tab and the message and the sentiment pop out. So if you pull that out a bit further, whoops, there we go, you would have room to write a greeting on there, which would be very nice, or you could just leave it as it is. So I hope you've enjoyed this project. I hope you'll go and check out my Facebook page, my blog. Details are underneath the video. If you've come here from the Altered Ego side of the house, thank you for joining me in my Stamping Up incarnation. In any case, I hope I'll see you again soon. Goodbye.